Okay, so we're going to continue with the nervous system by talking about something called G proteins. Okay, so one objective, just basically understand the basic idea of how a G protein works. We'll get into more detail later on in the term semester, but how does this work? So G proteins, this is a G protein right here. Okay, so notice that it's got three parts, and I often jokingly refer to it as a sorority. So alpha, beta, and gamma. When alpha, beta, and gamma have a GDP attached to them, that G protein is considered inactive. However, when GDP is replaced by GTP, the GTP basically turns the G protein on. So how does this whole process work? We'll take a minute to look at this figure. There's three primary steps. So step one, a hormone, chemical, neurotransmitter, ligand, something like that, binds to a receptor. Okay, when this happens, generally what happens is GDP leaves. Okay, so it's kicked out of the sorority and then GTP replaces it. That's not always the case, but generally speaking, GDP leaves, GTP comes in. But then GTP and alpha decide they want to go somewhere else, and so they leave and they bind to a protein here, okay? And so you can see from this picture, we've got this protein, right here. Here's our protein, okay? And they can bind to it. Now that protein does one of two things. It's either an ion channel, so we're opening a door, or it's an enzyme which activates a second messenger. Okay, so with the G protein, I'm going to come back to this original figure. Okay, normally what happens is a hormone binds to the receptor, ion channel opens. The receptor is on the ion channel. But with a G protein, if we open an ion channel, it's like I put a key in my door and then it opens my neighbor's door. Okay, so it's a little bit different. Okay, or we can, like I said, activate these second messengers or enzymes. Why do we care about this? Well, they are involved with a lot of different things, including, but not limited to, what I've got listed here. Now notice that on cardiac muscle, retina, and otoreceptors, I've got that bolded. And the reason that I've got that bolded is we're going to talk about specific G protein pathways later on in the semester. Okay, so hormone binds to the receptor, GDP leaves, GTP comes in, GTP and alpha bind to a protein and activates that protein, whether it be an enzyme or an ion channel. Okay, and so what do you need to know? What are the three basic steps? What's the difference between a G protein receptor and an ion channel? And what are the main effects of an activated G protein?